realized after so we had to send the titles before we had to send the slides. And I realized this morning that I really mostly say about how AI helps us understand our world. But then since we understand it, we can change it. This is what the University of Bath press office thinks I do. I found this out last year when they asked me to talk about, this is totally freaky, can I not see myself? When they asked me to talk about emotional robots. But I can understand it because I do actually work on synthetic emotions, and I do actually work on robots. So I can see why they thought I worked on emotional robots, but it's not what I spend most of my time doing. Personally, as a researcher, I spend an awful lot of my time working on trying to understand biology. So this is a few of my other PhD students who actually do math and complicated things like that. I tend to do simulations, which is the tie-in with artificial intelligence, so trying to understand social behavior. So what the rest of this talk is talking about, this is my own history of how I got here. And of course, the first thing I cared about was dinosaurs, but they actually have nothing to do with the rest of the talk. I just thought I'd be running late by this point, but I'm not. Okay. But I love dinosaurs. Great picture, isn't it? But anyway, after I got over that, the next thing I was interested in animal behavior. And so here we see some animals behaving. I'm actually interested in human behavior, and you might notice that these animals do something very human, which is they have a fight about scaring the baby, but then they reconcile. Of course, the fight scared the baby more than before. Anyway, I was an undergraduate. I was sitting in a lecture hall, and someone told me about how human vision works on saccading, so how you automatically direct your vision. And this was an incredible thing to me because I was a budding geek and I understood it. But it was automatic, and I thought I was a Midwestern American, and I thought, how can it be that there's stuff that I can't control? That's the automated bits of my brain that are running away and doing things. What about the ethics of that? You know, who's responsible then? So that was the first thing I thought. But the next thing I thought was, wait, why does nature break intelligence into chunks? So going back to that picture that I showed you before, it's not only that there's some little bit of the brain that's figuring out where you should look and how your eyes should attend to the room, but also you can see that there's these different colors in the different parts of the brain are a consequence of different structures at the neural level. So different parts of the brain have different computational properties. It's not that surprising. Okay, this is the eye. So it's not that surprising that the eye has to have a lens and stuff. But anyway, trying to understand why the answer to that question was, I did a computer science degree, and I figured out that there's this thing called, they forced us to take courses in PhDs when I'm in America. And so I learned about computational complexity like real computer scientists know. So this is computational perspective in 15 seconds. If you have a robot that can do 100 things, and it knows that it has a plan that can be any two of those things in any order, that's 10,000 possible plans for the robot. All right? That's why computer science is hard. That's why it's hard to be smart. That's why we're all stupid. And of course, you know, in real life, this isn't even real life. This is chess. In chess, if you had to think of every possible game that was like 35 steps long, you would need, there's not that many particles in the universe. Or I'm sorry, atoms. There is that many particles. But anyway, so you need to break the problem down. And in computer science, when we're trying to break a problem down, we break it down into modules so we can reason about them and debug them. And it looks like it isn't just computer science and human intelligence, that kind of search that does this, but also that nature breaks things down. For example, into individuals. So my first stuff that I started doing that was actually sort of science was breaking down, modeling how monkeys perform task learning. And I showed that if you broke the problem of learning apart into different modules, which you don't usually do in machine learning because you get into problems, then you can make something just as stupid as a monkey. And that got me my postdoc. Because I got something that couldn't learn, and Mark Hauser went, oh, my monkey can't learn either. Anyway, I also, it turns out religions are also kind of modular and split apart and do things that I knew I wouldn't have time to talk about that. But then we started working on trying to understand social structures. So why are there different social structures in different monkeys? The ones I showed you at the beginning are this very friendly reconciliation. Other ones are very dominant, so you wouldn't have the big ones near the little ones. But anyway, from that I got funded at some point to start worrying about human structure. So here we have people in Bath Digital building up a society, and here we have some mean people breaking down and shrinking the size of the group. But it might be that both of those processes are natural process of trying to figure out how to regulate your public goods investment and get the optimal sort of size to attack the kinds of problems your community is trying to attack. And that might explain why there's economic differences in the world, and that's the stuff we're working on right now. Thank you.